Welcome back to another video of Smith's Fishing Outdoors, and today we're with Rich Reinert. And what are we going to be going through?
What are we going to go through? I think we're going to go through baits.
Tons of baits.
You know what? Musky fishermen love to fish muskies, but I think they like to collect baits as much as they do fish muskies. What do you think?
I don't know about
that. If from looking at your garage, I say you do. What do you No?
I use most of them.
I think you like bass fishing. No? Muskies?
Muskies.
All right. All right.
Okay. What baits are we starting with?
Well, I don't know. You tell me, which one do you want to start? You know what we might want to do is we might want to start here on this end because...
And go to the end, yeah.
Well, what you got here is you got two different types of topwater baits. You've got, you've got what I would call baits that you would search for fish with. And you got baits over here that you would, say that you've got fish located and you want to keep them in the strike zone longer. Well, he's got some topper stoppers down there, but those creepers and I don't know, he doesn't have that hog wobbler out. I think he put that away. But anyways, when I pick my baits,
we'll put it in there, Rich.
when I pick my baits, what I choose, this is just me. So let's say it's really calm glass. Okay, the water is as calm as glass. Yep. I usually use smaller blades, and as there's more chop, then my blades get bigger. The more the chop, the bigger the blades.
Yep.
Because I believe, and I know we were, your dad and I, you were there too. We were all talking about this. The guy said, well, just put on a black bucktail and silver blade and you're good to go, and to heck with the sound. Sound is everything. Yeah. Sound, the muskies have got to feel, the vibration on their lateral line.
Yep.
You know where that's at.
Yep.
Then they've got to be able to hear it in their inner ear, and then they've got to be able to see the bait. If they can't do that, then you don't have a connection.
Yep. So
location's important, but the sound and vibration the bait causes is just as important as location.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
It's very important.
Oh, I know it is, and I know you know that because you catch a lot of nice muskies.
Yes.
Last year you caught how many muskies, big muskies on a trilogy?
Well, I think I caught what was it, 6, 7?
You caught a lot. You did a good job. You probably did better than probably 90% of the musky fishermen out there. You did a great job. And I know you're a hard fisherman. So you did a good job, but it was sound. If you look at a trilogy, it's got that different blade to it.
Unique sound.
You know why? Did you ever look at the bait closely? It's got that slit.
Yep. Well,
that blade is sit there jumping back and forth, and it's scraping onto the shaft. That's creating sound and vibration. You know what I mean? So, yes, for guys that don't think sound and vibration is important, well, they better take up bass fishing, huh? All right. So first bait we're gonna do.
First bait.
We'll start with this one, and this is a
turtle topper.
This is a turtle topper, and it's got brass blades. And I think I'm a big proponent of brass blades.
Yep.
And who taught me that was Frenchie LeMay. I used to sit in Frenchie LeMay's trailer all the time up in the Chippewa Flowage and visit with him, and he was a big proponent of using brass. As years went on, we don't have one here, but I used to make a globe called the Cyclone, and I used brass blades. And besides guys that were custom bait builders like Frenchie, I think I was really the first guy to really use brass on my globe blades, mass produced.
Yeah.
Okay. Slammer Topwater used to make my cyclones, and we use brass, and I really believe in that. So I'm gonna let you put this on. So the cool thing is he's got brass, Tim put brass blades on this. It's but it's also, I think he's got bushings in that. So now the interesting thing about this is, what does it sound like underneath the water?
Yeah. that's the topper. Now let's go into the next bait.
That sounded really nice underwater.
Yeah, I bet
Yes.
it did. You know, it's funny, Jason, and we purposely, you know, there was some baits, you know, we've been playing with here and tuning, but then we stopped because we realized we got ahead of ourselves. Most musky fishermen will go to a store and they buy a lure, a musky lure, and they rip it out of the package. And what do they do with the package? Fisher?
Throw it away.
And they don't read the instructions. Nope. They don't do anything. So this is typical. We already took this one out of the package. This is a 4-banger. It's made by Dreamcatcher Tackle. Very few people are familiar with this bait.
Yep.
Now, because it's mass produced, the companies can't take the time to tune it. So you put this on once, okay, and
Let's see how it sounds untuned.
exactly. And then I'm gonna tune it.
We'll flip her out. Untune. Doesn't really do anything,
Sounds pretty good. We can make it
but we can make it better.
touch better.
Okay. So, and that's the thing. So the guy takes it out of the package. And a lot of people today, they don't want to play. They think the bait should be tuned for them. As long as I can remember, I've been fishing muskies 50 years.
Yep.
And you know what? I tune everything because you want to get the utmost. So in this case of a bait like this, whether it's a 4-banger or if it's a topper stopper, or as you well know, I make my own toppers.
Yep.
This is one of my toppers. This is your dad. I made this one for your dad.
Yeah.
You can't use it, Fisher.
You know, this is your dad's. This thing.
Why can't I use it?
But in all fairness, I made you one special because I know you like these crazy colors. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to tune this. So what I do is when I go tune a bait like this with this type of Delta blade is I'll take it and I'll start lifting the blade up and away, okay, from the back, and I start pulling the blade up just like that. So I not only did I curl it up,
Yep.
but I also pulled it out away from the shaft. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but not as much. See, I'm lifting the blade up and out, okay? So that's what we've ended up with. And we're going to do the same thing in the back. See how the blades are a little flatter? So I'm gonna place my thumb here. I'm gonna lift up and out, and the same thing on this other side, but not as much. Okay, right there. Okay, now we remember what that sounded like before.
Yep.
Now let's see what it sounds like now.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Hear that deeper sound and that chirp? It's got almost like that chirping
Got a lot of chatter.
Now let's see what it sounds like
underwater.
underwater.
Because even though we can hear it and it sounds good to us,
You gotta figure out if the muskies can hear it.
exactly, the muskies have got to be able to hear it. You know,
Wow. That bait sounded really good underwater.
it did.
It
But
did.
here's the thing that's interesting. You know, your dad and I have talked about this many times. You know, your dad prefers metal blades versus painted blades.
Yeah.
Painted blades look great, but your dad thinks, I mean, has told me that he feels that the metal blades have more sound.
Whether it be aluminum or brass, doesn't matter. Just as long as it's metal.
As long as it's metal, as opposed to painted. And so,
And they
just-
get better with age.
exactly.
As more you wear out the holes,
Oh, 100%.
and then she chimes the
Right.
blade like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
And you're exactly right. So, just for giggles, I've already tuned this one for you.
Yep.
Because I know you like these crazy colors, kid.
They look good.
So you go ahead. Now, as I was tuning, you see I chipped the blades, but there's still plenty of paint on there. Let's hear what it sounds like underwater. Okay, so that's the
Well, that sounded really good underwater.
It did sound, so
It
you
did.
could hear it. See, I mean, you're doing this and he's filming this and you can
Yep.
hear it up here. So just, just to say, we've tried these two toppers here, but your dad also brought up a point that the difference between, a topper, sounding different when it's new versus used, old. Yes.
I first picked up on this when I found out that my topper stoppers that I had were the ones that were 15 years old were the ones that were catching fish.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And what's
So
happening is they're wearing here in the blade.
Yep.
And if you compare that to your older ones, I mean, you can see the wear and tear. And you're exactly right. And I've seen you've got these tweaked a certain way too to make them sound. The fine points of tuning a topper, where a lot of guys just, again, they buy them out of the package, they take them out of the package, they throw them, and they call them good. And just that little bit.
And they're not a small fish bait. I know 53, 54s that have come on Mille Lacs on my tuned toppers.
Toppers are underused by the majority of musky fishermen. And the guys that know about it, we just kind of do our thing. I love toppers. And I know you do too.
Yep.
See how it's
This is a brand new one. This is
Brand new.
This is one of my toppers that I make. And it's tuned.
Still sounds good, but you can definitely tell there's not as much wear.
Exactly. So, just for giggles, so do you want to hear that up underwater? Or you want to just we'll do this other one. So now listen to this one.
This one really has, because you can tell this one's been used
And abused.
I
probably caught 30 muskies on that topper stopper.
Yeah, that one's seen some warfare in the field.
Yep. Number 3. That one.
So Fischer, when you bring that bait, did you notice the bait chirping at the same time? Or see, the new one didn't have the chirping, but this had that chirping.
Had the chirping.
And you know what? A lot of people think, oh, that doesn't make a difference. It makes all the difference in the world.
Adds a little bit more vibration.
Exactly. So basically, I mean, just the things we've talked about with toppers, I mean, I think people get the idea, but the next, probably the most popular bait in Wisconsin, I would say in just about anywhere they fish muskies, is tail baits.
Tail baits.
When top raiders came out, of course, everybody knows about the Booker top raiders, but there's even some differences in that. But this is called a Suick Nightwalker.
Suick Nightwalker.
And you know what? It's one of probably my all-time favorite baits, as far as a tail bait.
Yep.
As far as sound-wise. This is a brand new bait, so we're going to listen to this one. And we'll see how it sounds and see if we can get a little bit more out of it.
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect.
Your line's back, last year. So, Fisher, here's the thing. That's one thing about a night walker. You really don't have to do a lot to them.
No.
Because they sound. This is the company right here. I mean, they make this bait. It sounds good right out of the package.
Yep.
So I don't know that we. I'm pretty satisfied with that, weren't you?
That was right out of the package.
Yeah.
That's
But
perfect.
you know, the only thing I might do when I tune these is I'll place my thumb, you know, against the blade, and I'll curl it down just a dite, just a little bit. And
Little goes a long way.
Little bit goes a long, long way. Let's try it and see what it
Let's
sounds
see
like.
what that sounds like.
Yep. Oop. Hear that? Just a little bit more to it.
And it's going to go a little too much.
Yep. Just a little too much. Let's try it. Just pull it out.
Pull her back out. Because
Yeah.
a little goes a long ways.
Yep.
Yep.
Then, you know. So I'm just going to take it and just. I'll try that.
Tiny bit.
That's all it takes. It sounds crazy. And it won't move. I mean, is your fish there? What do you think, Jason?
I like it. Wonder what it sounds like
Underwater.
underwater.
I want to hear it underwater. Did you notice the difference? Just
Yep.
that little bit. That it was almost like the boom, 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 boom. It had
Yep.
that. Versus in the beginning, that when we took it out of the package, it sounded great out of the package, and it had that pop, 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 pop. But
Yep.
now it's got that boom, 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 boom. You know.
Sounded great on the package, but we just made it a tiny bit better.
And sometimes a tiny bit will spell the difference between putting a muskie in the boat and not putting a muskie in the boat.
Yep.
So,
Let's talk about the top raters.
you know, that's a good topic
Yep.
because your dad and I are what would be considered the old timers or old school guys, kind of. Your dad's a little bit more technical for being an old school guy. I'm old school, but here's something we know that a lot of people don't know. This one here is a new top rater.
Yep.
Okay.
It's caught fish.
Caught fish,
You
yep.
know, and it will catch fish.
Yep.
Okay. But there's nothing there.
Nope.
Just solid bait. This is an old top rater.
Found it at a garage sale the other day. I knew by the color pattern that it was
An old one.
old one.
Okay. So, Jason, what does this do versus this one?
Underwater.
That's right, but it makes a big difference. Just those rattles
Yep.
inside that bait. You know, if I have my druthers, if I can find these, I buy them all. I think I've got 9 or 10 now.
Yeah.
And my wife hoards them. You know, she won't give them up. I mean, there's top raters and then there's top raters.
Top raters.
And this is the top. Would you agree?
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and try that?
That was about mid-2000s they stopped putting babies in them.
You're about right.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they realized that they did that.
I don't know. I wonder if they did.
Well, that's about the. When did Joe sell that company?
That's a good bait.
Yeah, it's a great bait.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it.
That's
Okay, now. So this was,
that sounded good.
yep.
that
It
sounded
sounded
Nothing
good.
wrong with today's Joe Booker top rater. Nothing
No.
wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong.
But the old ones you're gonna notice are just a touch better.
Yep. Just a touch better, but let's see how this one sounds.
It's almost got like that chirping sound like the toppers.
It's got a hum to it.
Exactly, a hum. That's the better way of putting it, a hum.
Got a whistle.
Yep.
Let's see it underwater.
See it underwater.
So just for giggles, okay? Whoops. So we sit there and we're able to, see the difference in those top raters. I can't wait to watch this video, you know that?
Yeah.
It's going to be something. But here's an old time bait. This is a bait that I happened, to make years ago. It's called a stomper.
Yep.
There's like 2 or 3 different owners. I was involved with 2 of the 4 ownerships or 5 ownerships.
I always like your version with the fill-in lead weights like that.
Right. So let's see if let's just see. This has caught a lot of fish. Your dad has done well with these, but we'll go ahead.
I mean, you can tell just by looking at the bait, it's done pretty well.
There's a time when they really like this pippity pop
Yes.
that I call pippity pop.
A faster moving topwater that has a pop.
And and that was an important thing that your dad just said about this has got kind of a pippity pop sound to it. If you look at the Nightwalker, all right,
Thump, thump, thump.
it's got that thump, thump, thump noise.
Yep.
And I seem to do really well with this in darker water and when the water is calm as glass. When I'm fishing in lakes that have got a clear to stained water, I seem to do better with this hippity hop, this pippity pop sound. And so even, a lot of people say, well, I've got tail baits in my box. The fact of it is, there is a difference between tail baits.
Yep.
You've got a Nightwalker, okay, that's got that big round tail, just like this is a Chaos Tackle. This is the
Twisted Sister.
The Twisted Sister. I use the Little Sisters.
Yep.
But this is a Twisted Sister. But both of those got big round tails, and they got that pop, 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 pop.
This one's got the pippity pop.
It's got the pippity pop. You know who makes a pippity pop bait that I really like a lot is Lee Tauken. He makes that water chopper. Have you tried those?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. I think he makes that bait is always perfect every time.
Throws enough water and it works.
I know. I wish we had one, but
We do have one.
You do have one?
We do have one in the boat.
Real? Oh.
Right here.
That's when it comes to that pippity pop bait. That's a good one too.
Give her a toss, Fisher.
Yeah, that's called a ball licker. I think the color ball licker.
It's got a really good splash to it.
Yes, it does.
That's what I said. It throws it just enough water.
Live.
Yeah.
That sounded great.
Yeah, and another thing, it's like the little thing. The one thing about Lee's baits that he does, he thinks of the little things. He's got that little extension on there. He drops that hook a little bit. It's just this is a near, to me, the perfect pippity pop, type tail bait on the market.
Pippity pop.
Pippity pop. We're gonna call them pippity pops from now on.
Pippity
right?
popper.
Yeah, the pippity popper. But yeah, this is Lee does a good job on these. So as you can see, there's a wide array of tail baits on the market.
Yep.
They all have a different sound. So the next time a guy says to you, well, they're all the same, you know the difference, huh?
Let's check out this Twisted Sister.
Oh yes, let's
see the difference between this and the Nightwalker.
You bet.
I've caught a lot of fish on those Chaos Twisted Sisters
You know,
and the Little Sister.
and the thing of it is, it's got a bigger tail. So if you, it's a good point. I'll tell you something, Fisher. When we were talking about weather, and a lot of people talk about that they use. There's been a myth that muskies, you got to use surface baits early in the morning and late in the evening. The fact of it is, some of the roughest chop on the water is great top water. Because what happens when you have a heavy chop on the water, or it's windy and there's heavy chop, you have a low pressure system coming in. So that means the muskies are active. So you got this big, this big tail that can that they can pick up in that heavy chop. So
they can feel the vibration.
They can feel the vibration, buddy. That's right.
With that chop. And that's got more of that heavy pop. Well, that sounded great underneath the water. Let's get into more like creepers and
Slow baits.
slow top.
We're on to
Let's
slow
go
baits
slow
now.
baits. Well, you know what? The first one I'm going to do is, and he seems to be taking the market by storm with these, is a TR, creeper.
Yep.
So let's try that. I think this one, I gave this one to you, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah. It's a little bit different pattern, but it was one of my, patterns I like. But let's just see. I sent it to you and I don't know. We'll see what it's doing. I haven't tuned that one yet.
Yeah, this one does.
Okay.
Little tweaking.
Oh, definitely.
We can make that a little better.
All right. So this one, the wings are in fairly good position. So what I would do with the creeper, as you can see, they're somewhat even, okay? But all I would do with this one is I would pull the wing down a little bit, both sides. That's
Again, a little goes a long ways.
yeah, that's right. And I think you try that once.
And even they can get the wings get messed up in the net if you have a fish.
Exactly.
So you always need to know.
Look at the difference in the sound.
They sound good right out of the box, but if they get messed up in the net, you're gonna need to.
See how that's spitting? Hear that slosh. That slosh is it's talking, but it's sloshing. Try it again once, Fisher. You hear that bait? How it's sloshing? Boom.
Yep, sounds good.
What do you think? You like that?
Just a little tweak. It's all it
That's
needed.
all it took. Yeah, exactly. Just I wonder what it sounds like underwater. Here's another one. Now this one, the wings aren't as wide.
Yep.
And I have a tendency, the wider I spread my wings, the slower I want to use the creeper.
Yep.
Okay?
You don't want to use a creeper fast.
No. But sometimes, yeah, I like the slower the better. Right now we're accentuating these so that people can hear the sound, but I like to tune a creeper to the point where I can actually watch the wings just back and forth.
Yep.
And believe me, people say, well, that's too slow. Sometimes that's best. So we'll try this one now, see what it sounds
Nothing's
like.
ever too slow.
No. And I think your dad has taught you that. Listen to that one.
And I'll go a little slower this time through.
She's spitting really nice. You know
Sounds
what?
great. I wonder if that one sounds like under the water.
Yes.
So, let's go to the Wally Pond.
You know what? That's going to be an interesting one because I think a Wally Pog, you hear Greg Nimmer at the sports shows, at the Muskie shows. What does he do? When he's sitting there to get your attention,
Yep.
he drives, that clack is just antagonizing, but it's effective. And that's why this might be this is the way he does
Yep.
in this show. And you can, in a room, you can hear that, but you try this and see what that sounds like.
Underwater, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
This one's proven that it has worked.
You have put some miles on that one, kid.
I have caught some fish on this one, that's for sure.
It looks like you've got quite a few, and you put some time on that one.
I have put some time on this one.
That looks awesome.
Perfect bait for when you got a fish targeted on a spot.
This is a crazy new bait that we haven't even thrown yet. Randy Paffer made this one. It looks sweet. Purple.
What do you think of that, Rich?
I think it's, you know what? I think it's pretty awesome. A lot of people don't know who Randy Pafford is, but I'm gonna tell you what, he's in the ranks of guys like Frenchie LeMay and, you know, Tim Radis, but he's kind of like one of the unsung bait producers. Or
20 baits a year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all he
man.
builds, and they're all good.
He can build a bait.
Yeah, tool and die, man.
Yes, exactly.
Let's check this one. Non-tuned. Let's see how this sounds.
That bait's doing a lot of things right there.
It's got the chatter from the back.
The only thing I would do to that is maybe just pitch the wings a little more.
Yep, get a little more split.
Let's pitch her wings, give it a little bit of fine tune. We'll see what she's got.
See, it already caught Fischer.
Yeah, it already caught me, so.
So when you tune these
Isn't
wings,
that like a what? Isn't that the old fetch and catch kind of like?
yes, it is. Frenchie LeMay used to make a bait.
That style.
Yep, the style.
The body's bigger. It's got big Minnesota Muskie written all over it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I would pitch this anymore, just because it's a jointed bait. But I think the key thing is when you do this is you want to make sure that those wings are both even on each side. Would you say that looks about right?
Yeah.
Now, Randy puts a really nice pitch on it, a downward pitch on his wings. So let's just try that and see if there's a difference. Hooks are sharp too.
Yeah, it already caught me.
See, it's got that deeper pop, 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 pop.
Perfect.
And the body's clinking together and that tail's...
Just that little pitch of the wings. And you see how she's spitting?
Let's see what it sounds like underwater.
Yes. So
what do we got here?
well, this so far with this video, we've talked about topwater baits.
Topwater, plot baits, whatever.
But it's the same thing happens with bucktails.
They have sound too.
Well, this blade revolving around, okay, it's pushing against the marabou or tinsel or whatever, and some of that water's bouncing back. There is vibration. Now, Fisher, I want you to do something for me. This bait this came out of the package. I want you to pitch that and tell me what you feel. Just tell me what you feel.
Oh, wow.
No, wait. It's
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, now bring it to me in a minute.
That has a lot of vibration.
Yeah, well, you tell me what you think of this. What I do with my bucktails is I take them and I curl them into a horseshoe, okay?
That why they get better after they get caught a fish once, and you got to rebend them?
Exactly. Watch this. Now I take and I lift up here, okay? Now, Fisher, I want you to pull it now and tell me what you feel. Now, you felt the blade before.
Oh.
What do you think? You
Oh,
feel
yeah.
it harder?
It's a lot better.
I mean, what do you feel?
A lot more
Do
vibration.
you feel the thump on the blade?
Yep.
The blade has the clevis and the blade have to work harder on that bent shaft than when it's straight out of the package.
And this goes with any bucktail.
This goes with any bucktail.
Exactly.
Any bucktail.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Here, this is the one bucktail.
We should throw that last one underwater and see what it sounds like.
Yep.
You want to try it underwater?
Yeah, let's see see if we can pick up some vibration.
All right. That'd be interesting if it does. So what do you think, Fisher?
I think we should go to the next bucktail, but did you hear that?
What?
Did you hear that bait in the water?
Yeah, I know.
That
That's
was
what I'm
crazy.
saying. But you felt it, didn't you?
Yep.
So when the first time that you tossed it, you felt the blades revolving, right?
Yep.
So what did you feel the second time? A deeper pounding?
Deeper pounding.
Is that what you felt?
Yep.
That's the thing. Now, we'll do one more bucktail. We'll do the exact opposite. This is a Colorado blade. This is, you know, if it sounds like advertising, and I hate to do it, but the thing of it is, this has been the rage lately. This has been the quiet rage. This is called the willow rage.
Willow rage.
Willow rage, buddy. And look at this thing.
That's a big willow blade.
I mean, it's a number 10 willow.
I bet you that thing pulls.
It's the only one like it on its market. Wait on the market. Wait till you see this thing and see what you think. Here, you try it. I'll tell you right now, there's so many big fish being caught on this thing, and the guys that are catching fish are really keeping it quiet.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, kid? Look at the amount of, when you pulled up close to the top, look at how much water that willow blade's moving. Yeah. Most willow blades don't do that. That thing is just blowing the water right out. Look at that.
Like a muskie's following it.
Exactly. I'm curious what it sounds like underwater. The stuff like you're doing right now here, Jason, this is good stuff. It's giving the people a lot of good information. And I don't think this has been done before by anybody, I don't really think. You know, so let's
get that underwater.
Did you feel that vibration?
Well, I didn't feel it, but I know you did.
But I know I did.
But what do you think?
I think it has tons of vibration. It works.
Oh, it's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
Here's the thing, you know, we could go on and on and on and show more and more baits, you know, and we could do this with crankbaits and minnow baits and all kinds of baits.
And feel free to bring into the comments what baits you'd like to see. Maybe we'll do some further episodes on that.
Exactly. But I think it gets the point across that tuning baits makes a difference.
Yep.
Don't just buy a bait, take it out of the package and throw it. You know, try to get the most out of it. Wouldn't you agree? Mm-hmm. I know you're 12 years old and you got that already dialed in already.
Well, I hope that you are very interested and know what to do now for any baits, and you're not going to just take them out of the package. You're going to tune them before you throw them to get the best out of the bait. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.